warm welcome to you. Welcome to your midweek edition of Afternoon Express. I'm Balisa Dembe, and today's cook-along is all about street food. Now, we're being joined by Kim McNully and Heinrich Herboth from Plucky's Fried Chicken, Korean style, for this culinary affair. Now, head over to our Afternoon Express website right now to get the full recipe and ingredients list to cook along with us. Welcome to the loft to the both of you. Now, I'm very excited, Kim and Heinz, or as he'd like to go by, H, making this Korean style food. Some of our viewers at home know I've been to Korea 3 times. So I'm going to be putting your Korean skills to the test to see how authentically Korean we can get it. So welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you.
Now, we've got so much on the menu, so I'm so excited to dive into the menu. But if you would like to just detail for our viewers at home who have been following on and will be following on throughout the show, what's on the menu?
Today we're doing popcorn chicken, or as we call it, chicken pops. We're going to do a veg version of that, which is our veggie pops. And then after that, we're going to do chicken bao, which is the steam buns. And then after that, our Korean dogs. And then the last one would be our apple doughnuts.
Love that. That sounds absolutely delicious. Now, everyone, Mzansi, you already know where to get your full ingredients list and recipe on our website, but let's get cooking. Step number 1 of making these delicious. Now, I love myself some chicken. Chicken pops are iconic for me. They're quick, they're easy, and everyone loves them. And on that side, Kim is also going to make cauliflower pops. So what's step number 1?
So first of all, you take your chicken breast. They normally come about 100 to 120 grams. So you want to cut the pieces into nice bite-sized pieces. So by doing it, if it's about 120, you cut it up in 6 pieces. If it's 100 grams, you do about 5.
Stunning.
So just so that you have a nice bite size.
So we're not trying to overfill our mouths here when we're eating.
Correct, yes.
Okay, H, I love that. And on your side, Kim?
So the same process goes with the cauliflower. You're just going to cut it into bite-sized pieces, more or less exactly the same size as the chicken pops.
Love that. Okay, so we're essentially duplicating the steps here. What you do to the chicken is what you do to the cauliflower. But we cannot forget here our clover nolak. This is the star ingredient within this recipe, and we're going to be using it to create a delicious sauce.
That's correct. So the nolak we're going to use as the marinade for the chicken, because in general chicken breast doesn't have a lot of flavor, so you want to bring softness and juiciness to the chicken. Because once we coat it in the cornstarch, it's going to go extremely crispy on the outside. So you want crunch with juicy, soft interior.
Oh, I like that. So this is essentially almost like a tenderizing step.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, so then do I just pop that into this bowl, and how do I incorporate these different flavors?
Can I help you quickly?
Go ahead. I love doing nothing in the Afternoon Express loft. That's why I've got my handy-dandy head chefs here in the kitchen. Now, Kim, on your side, with creating the vegetarian version of these incredible pops, is there something that we need to keep in mind, and what would we omit?
There isn't really anything that we would omit. It's not vegan, so there is dairy in it, so it's only vegetarian. Obviously, you would do them separately to keep the chicken and the veg separate. Other than that, there is no real difference in the entire recipe.
In terms of the method, okay.
Yes.
So now that you've put your clover nolak within this bowl, is that just going to be now
I'll do the heavy lifting for you.
Ah, yes! A true gentleman this festive season. I'm loving it. Okay, but a lot of people also want to just get over the midweek hump that is a Wednesday. Would you say that Korean street-style food is something that's quick, easy, that a lot of people can make?
It is easy, but it is time-consuming. So if you want to have it midweek, I would suggest on the weekend when you have the time, that's when you start.
Okay.
Because you want to marinate these chicken breasts for at least 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
Because then with the Mars and then the ingredient of the rice vinegar, what happens is it breaks down the chicken, so it becomes extremely, extremely soft and tasty. By flavoring it with the ginger and the paprika and the garlic salt, it infuses into the chicken these incredible flavors. Then when you do the coating that you also do with paprika and all of the different spices.
Just to duplicate it.
Yes, but there's a few other ingredients that go into there that when you coat it and you deep fry it, you can then, it goes extremely crispy.
Yeah.
What is very nice about this whole process is if you've made it on a Wednesday and you have extra left, after this first fry, you pop them in the deep freeze,
Uh-huh.
you keep them frozen, so the next time coming the weekend and you want some more, if you made extra, then you just take them out, you pop them from frozen into the oil.
Just to revive them.
Do a second fry. You always got to do the second fry, and then you just put your Korean sauce over, and there you go, voila.
Voila! You know, it's so easy to overcook and make
That's
sure
true.
and have your chicken breast dry
Yes.
and not as succulent as you'd like to enjoy. So I love these tips and tricks coming from the professionals themselves. Again, Mzansi, you already know to head over to our website to get all these details. So you've already mentioned that over here, this is rice vinegar.
Yes.
Love that. Is that something that's a staple within Korean food and preparing
Yes,
food?
because what it helps to preserve preserve and breaks down the chicken enzymes.
Okay.
That's what you want. So what you're going to do is you're going to add some of the vinegar to the mars.
Okay.
You can also use milk if you don't have milk. If you don't have mars or you don't have buttermilk, you can use normal milk. You can use almond milk. You can use soy milk. You can use any milk product. And then what you do is you add the vinegar to it, because the vinegar will do exactly the same process as what this is doing.
I like that.
I just love the mars because the mars is traditional South African. And what I've done with the whole recipe for this is we incorporated certain South African elements, certain elements to the recipe. So
Okay, stunning.
you've been to Korea 3 times?
I have been, but you know, I've never been backstage, essentially, where the magic happens in the kitchens. So I've never really seen how it's been prepared. Yes, I have also indulged in street food, but essentially, you know, I'm just caught up in the vibes and in the culture of it all that I overlook what happens again in the kitchen. So we've put our chicken breast within the mixture of our clover nolak mass. We've also added the rice vinegar. It seems like it's coming quite nicely here. And then do we just put it into another container to spice?
Yes, no, we keep it in there. What we do is you still have to add the ginger.
Everything else,
and
okay.
then the spices,
Okay, let me add in the spices. And how's it going on that side, Kim?
I'm done with my prep of the cauliflower. I need the marinade, which would be the same as the chicken, just obviously in separate bowls. Once we've marinated that, we're going to do the coating, and thereafter it is our first fry and second fry.
So this is essentially something that all South Africans can try at home. Yes, it might be a labor of love, but it's quick and easy. So now, H, I'm going to share some no-lac over there with Kim.
Perfect.
For Kim to get your marinade up and running. And on that note, Kim, I have to find out from you, getting involved into street food and street food Korean culture, how did it all start, especially with the business?
The business was conceived by H during COVID. To be plucky, the definition of plucky is to be brave.
Oh, wow.
So that is how H came up with the concept. He's always thinking outside of the box. So Korean food is big. It's not yet reached South Africa, which is why we decided to do it.
Stunning. And H, when it comes to looking back at this business in terms of it coming together during lockdown, what was it about lockdown that said, I have to do something?
I actually had time for the first time. So that was actually the inspiration. I've been sitting with the idea for the last about 2 years in my head, and I tasted Korean chicken and I just loved it. And when I started trying to find places that actually do Korean chicken, I couldn't find it anywhere. So I decided, you know what?
Please pass this to Kim.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me start experimenting. And that's how it all happened.
I love that. Well, being flexible and experimenting is what it's all about, especially within 2020.
Yes.
But getting back to the recipe, I hope all of our viewers are following on, because we don't want to cross-contaminate the meat section and the meat station, essentially, and the vegetarian station. So that's why we've got also 2 different pots when it's time to fry. So now that we've marinated quite nicely, stays in there for 24 hours, it's time to get frying.
We first have to do the coating.
Okay.
Yes. So with the coating, we have our spices.
All that straight back in. We've got the corn starch, we've got salt and pepper.
Got the baking powder, we've got the paprika.
Cool.
Gives beautiful color. We've got the thyme, gives great flavor. The chili flakes.
Nice.
bit of celery salt, garlic salt, and again, a bit of white pepper.
Gorgeous.
So all we do is we just mix that up. So after the chicken has now been in your fridge for about 24 hours, the reason 24 hours, you can do it overnight, but the best is if you do it for 24 hours, because like I said, then you really get the chicken soft and juicy. And this is the nice messy part that I actually love.
Oops.
That's fine. So what you do is you literally just coat the chicken.
Okay.
With a buttermilk. That's fine, my baby.
That should be enough.
Yeah.
Lovely. Kim, on your side, how far is the cauliflower?
On my side, I'm doing exactly the same as H. So our cauliflower is marinated, preferably for a minimum of 24 hours. We're going to do the coating, and we'll do this exactly the same process as the chicken.
Delicious. Well, Mzansi, we are almost at the end of putting together our very first starter. It fries up and they make sure that it's golden brown as soon as you take out those chicken pops or the cauliflower pops. Now on social media, I also wanted to find out from you, what is the best street food that you've ever eaten? Now join the conversation happening on the Afternoon Express Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages right now. And please share your feedback using our hashtag Afternoon Express. But coming up, H, once we have gotten these golden brown, what's up our sleeve?
We are doing the bao buns.
Oh.
Those are the delicious Asian steamed buns, and they also get filled with our delicious popcorn chicken, or chicken pops, and we have that with vegetable mayos that we do.
Love that. All of that coming up.
Nothing beats the long-lasting freshness and quality taste of Clover fresh milk. Made with love by Clover.
Cross and Blackwell's.
Snap, black cat peanut butter.
Kuchagalaka.
Buy any 4 participating products and stand a chance to win 10,000 Rand daily. Add a twist to everyday meals.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, and yes, we are taking you on a Korean culinary adventure, this special edition of our Afternoon Express cook-along. We have with us the people that make this daily street food, essentially when it comes to Korean-style frying, Mr. H, and we also have Kim there. So, Mr. H, how far are we with the recipe, and what are we going to be making now?
So we marinate it and coat it, so we continue frying.
Okay.
Because you, on that side, my darling, you're going to start making the bao bun mixture for us. So it's the flour, the spices that you have ready here, water you can use at home. You don't have to use water. You can use juice that you heat up. Obviously, the water has to be warm.
Okay. And how much water should I put in here?
About 180 grams, 100 mils.
Stunning. And then I just whip this up.
That's correct.
So when you say you could also infuse juices, what does the juice do? I mean, I can't imagine a sweet mixture into such a savory dish.
The whole thing is that it's actually not, it doesn't give much flavor to it. It's more about the color, because we at Plucky's are making food for the Rainbow Nation.
Oh,
so we love the color of that. So if you use beetroot, you get that beautiful pink to red color. If you do orange, you do carrot, you can do turmeric. If you do spinach that you boil and you blitz, you get beautiful green color. You can use activated charcoal that you get black. So there's all these beautiful colors that you can do. And it's also just that it's food for the eye.
I like that. My mom has always said that you do eat with your eye first.
That's it.
So I've already whipped up this mixture, and then how long do I leave it here to poof, essentially looking like this finished product before we put it to steam?
Okay, what you do there is you will mix it in the bowl. Once it's firm, you will then, and obviously you have to add all your stuff, because your sugar and your yeast and all of that activates with the hot water and all of that.
Okay.
So then once you have a firm batter, you will then take it out. You will knead it by hand for about 10 minutes, because you want it to become a smooth dough.
Okay.
Once you're done with a smooth dough, you put it in a plastic container, or you can just wrap it. And then what you do is you put it outside or in a warm spot in the kitchen, and you let that proof for at least 2 hours. The reason for that is you want the yeast and the sugar to really puff up beautifully, because bao buns are all about these little fluffy clouds that you bite into. So while you're biting into the fluffy cloud, you are eating the Korean chicken, who has got this crispy coating.
Beautiful. Okay, so as soon as that's come in, if you can just share with our viewers the delicious end product of our bao buns. Essentially, you did exactly that with that end product in the middle.
Correct.
If you can just lift and expose the colors that you were speaking about earlier. So essentially, within those final products, what did you add for it to be yellow, and then essentially on the other side to have that speckled effect?
So the speckled effect here, that I added hemp powder, and in this one I added turmeric.
Nice.
Yes.
Stunning. Bao buns done.
So you steam them for about 10 minutes. The nice thing about bao buns, as with the chicken, like I said to you, you can make it on the weekend, you can freeze them, or when you made them during the week, you can freeze them. The beautiful thing about bao buns is you make them as well, make a batch, because it's a little bit intensive.
Okay.
But then what you do is you put it in the deep freeze, wrap them, and you can keep them in the deep freeze for up to 3 months. So once you've made a batch, you have it ready.
I love the fact that we're speaking economically here.
Yes.
And especially for someone like me who's not that creative in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm the type to have the same thing time after time, day after day, talk about a meal prep right. But this is some way to keep it very special and new in the kitchen. Kim, on your side, how's it going?
It is going great. Our cauliflower is almost done. I'm about to start with our Korean sauce, which is our secret ingredient to all of this. So I'm just going to start putting all the ingredients into a pot and just bringing that to a simmer.
Stunning. What goes into a traditional, authentic Korean style sauce?
I've got some sugar. We've added a bit of South African flair to this. So we've got some Mrs. Ball's chutney.
Oh, nice.
Our tomato sauce. We've got our Korean paste.
There we go. Let me get
We've got some soy sauce, paprika, oil. Dates, very important. We've got some fresh ginger, fresh garlic, black pepper.
When you say dates are very important, I know that one can, just to add that sweetness, use honey. So why specifically did we decide on the dates?
Because people always associate deep frying, they always associate fast food, street food as unhealthy. We're trying to bring in vegetables, we're trying to bring in added nutrients. So in dates, you have lots of iron and you also have fiber. So that adds to the flavor of the Korean chicken. So it just makes it a little bit different to the authentic one, but
why not?
Why not?
I'm always about being flexible in the kitchen because essentially not everyone's pantry and not everyone's fridge looks the same.
That's correct.
So it's quite nice to be able to have different varieties when you are creating a meal.
That's it.
So how far are we when it comes to this delicious street food? I'm so into finger foods, and that's essentially what we're putting together.
Correct, yes. So no utensils, you eat it with your hands. The only utensil that we use is the chopsticks. While Kim is making the sauce there, I actually have pre-made a little bit of sauce there just to speed up the process here for us. So with the Korean chicken, what's always essential with this is the beauty of this as well is, like I said before, you can freeze them and then we always double fry them. The reason for double fry, extra crispiness. So we then take our sauce, we just squirt it over.
Nice. So you can put quite a generous portion, or it depends on your preferred taste.
So yes, we also made a mayo. So for the viewers outside there, who is not too crazy about too spicy,
yes,
you can take 1/3 of your Korean sauce and add 2/3 of mayo to it. So you can make your homemade mayo, or you can just buy beautiful Nola, and then you can do that.
Love that.
We're gonna take our beautiful fairy dust.
Fairy dust in the sesame seeds. I see that repeated in so many Eastern, Asian meals. So that's like the real McCoy. Now it's time to assemble.
Yes, there we go. So we're going to take our vegetable mayos. And today we're going to make the one bao bun with our chicken. There you go, Kim. So you can assemble, and we're going to do the other one with the veg. So we start off with our vegetable mayos. So for color and health reasons.
Is that beetroot?
That is the beetroot mayo. So we boil that, and then this one is a carrot one that we also boiled, and then we mix that with a beautiful mayo that you can make at home.
Delicious. I love the fact that here you're playing with ideas that I've never really thought about creating. Making a mayonnaise out of carrot and beetroot for me is truly out of this world. What a way to shake up our vegetables in the kitchen. Here we go, Kim. Here's some mayonnaise as well on your side. I'll put it here for you.
Grab from Kim here, and then I'll do it on this side.
Oh, there we go.
And there we go. So we're going to do the same. Do some carrot.
So essentially, when you were talking about having these fluffy bao buns, this is what you mean. I mean, Mzansi, as much as you can't really feel the bao buns that we have, but they're very moist. They're almost springy.
Yes, that's
they give that bounce back, and coupled with the crunchiness of that meat and the crunchiness of the cauliflower, I think will make for a dynamite pairing. And then we also have here, please may you pass me a spoon. Let's put all the vegetables now together. This also adds some crunchiness. We've got some red onion.
That's it. So we just sprinkle that once again. We just sprinkle that on there.
Nice.
We've got some cucumber.
There we go. You can do the same for that side.
Perfect.
And then spring onion, of course. I'm also going to put some spring onion on the top.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And
That's
then
very Asian.
Right here at the end,
bit of coriander.
We've got some coriander.
Yeah, just use your fingers. That's it. There we go.
Talking about street food and using your fingers, voila, that is our finished product. Now, Mzansi, if you've missed any of the steps and you want to catch this one more time, please do head over to our Afternoon Express website where we've detailed the full ingredients and recipe to be making this Korean street food. But after the break, what do we have?
We're going to do Korean dogs.
Love that. All of that coming up.
Express yourself.
Nothing beats the long-lasting freshness and quality taste of Clover fresh milk. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to our Afternoon Express cook-along. Yes, it is a Wednesday, but we're still whipping it up the best way we know how. And I have got my handy-dandy head chefs with me. I'm speaking about Heinz and Kim, all the way from Plucky's. And what you guys specifically star in, essentially, is Korean-style street food. Now, if you want to get the full ingredients list and the recipe to what's on the menu today, please just head over to afternoonexpress.co.za. Now, Mr. H, what is the next step? I believe we're making some beautiful corn dogs.
That's correct. So we call them chicken dogs. So we start off with your, while I'm going to do this, Kim is going to start making the batter for us to do this together.
Okay, so I'm going to make the batter, which is essential for our Korean dogs. That's the main step in this process. I've got some cake flour, I've got some celery salt, some chilies, some thyme, some sugar, baking powder,
nice,
paprika, black pepper, 1 whole egg, and some milk, and we're just going to mix that all together.
So essentially here, after you have skewered in your chicken Vienna, you can use whether a skewer at home or if you've got some easy, handy-dandy chopsticks, just to continue with the Korean theme, you use those to pierce the Vienna, and then the Viennas head over to Kim. So then, as you guys are getting through with that, I do believe, as you keep saying, Heinz, that street food is all about what's easy on the eye.
That's correct.
And we've already got a beautiful finished product, and I'm trying to get our corn dogs on that level, or the chicken dogs on that level. So how then do I make sure that I have the colors, the ingredients, and that garnish correct?
So what we do is Kim is going to coat these. Kim, I'm just going to hand it over to you.
Yeah.
And then in that batter, you can also put, like we did before, coloring. So your beetroots and all of that. So what we're going to do now is, I'm just going to show you here with cucumber.
You can use.
Can I use you? Okay, cool. So you cut your cucumber in half, and then again.
Into 4s.
That's it.
Now, you're very pedantic about the way you prepare your garnishes. I've never seen anyone pay such attention to detail when it comes to garnishing. So much so that Heinz decided to take over my chopping station. So don't do all of it. Let me see if I have nailed the way Heinz puts together his garnishing.
Okay,
so you just cut it into 4s. After cutting it one by one, cutting it into 4s. After cutting into 4s, you make sure that you take the pips all the way out, right? So our viewers will now see that this is essentially what's left over, and then you can just
eat that, exactly.
Enjoy that as is, okay?
That's it.
So let me make sure I get that correct whilst you show us how to do the spring onion.
Spring onion. So once again with spring onion, typical Asian flavor. So instead of just cutting them lengthwise, cut them at an angle, because when you cut them at an angle, they get a beautiful shape. It looks a little bit less than spring onion.
Okay.
And
all right, I'll finish up the rest, don't worry.
Sure. And then you'll see
now. He wants to finish all my job. He's giving me nothing to do, truly spoiling me in the kitchen. I'm asking for an example, and he's giving me a full masterclass. But that's what it's all about here in the kitchen. So once they look that good, essentially, in that diagonal shape, they're ready for the garnishing. So I'm going to continue with that.
Perfect.
Finish off what he's left for me to do. I'm just teasing. And you're also going to get started on the corn dogs there. I see Kim has already started with the batter, applying the batter onto the Viennas and onto the chopsticks.
Okay, so I've covered the Viennas in our batter. It needs to be quite thick, so it will stick to the Vienna. Once we've done that, and we've kind of made sure it's even all the way around, we've got some panko breadcrumbs, which we just put it in. Coat those, and then they are ready for their first fry.
Okay.
I'll take over from you, Kim. So I just like to squish them in nicely.
Make sure that all of that batter's in there.
Yes.
Okay.
When your kitchen is a little bit hot as well, you can put your batter in the fridge so that it's just not too runny. Then we pop them in. And basically, what you do is once the skewer comes up, you know your corn dog is ready.
Oh, wow. Oh, so it'll float to the top?
It floats up, yeah.
Nice. Okay. And you also spoke about the importance of double frying.
Yes.
Are we doing that again?
We can do it with the chicken dogs as well, but in general, the best is to do it with the chicken pops, because the first fry you just seal in all the flavors, and with the second fry you then make it really, really crispy to enjoy.
Love that. When it comes to Korean food and Korean style cuisine, if our viewers want to adventure out from what we've already prepared, looking as good as that does look, what's the number one rule to remember, or some tips and tricks when it comes to just the general, I suppose, Asian style of cooking?
Well, for the viewers who don't have a thermometer at home, the oil needs to be for proper cooking to make it good and crispy, and that once again, although it's deep fry, there's a misconception that if your oil is not hot enough, what happens is people think it's oily and it's bad for you. When your oil is about 180 degrees, what happens is it seals the outside and it steams the inside. So even if you do a double fry, it still does that. So it takes away all of that bad element that frying is.
That might be inside.
So if you don't have a thermometer at home to check that your oil is 180 degrees, you take a plain piece of bread, you break a piece off, you chuck it into the oil. The minute the bread comes to the top and it goes golden brown, keep the heat at that temperature, and then keep on frying.
Love that.
Yes.
Tips and tricks, but we have it all detailed for you on our website. I mean, Kim, on that side, how is it going with the batter and the dunking there?
This is the easiest kind of process. Once they've battered, you panko them and they go in. And it is as simple as that.
Simple, easy peasy. Now on social media, we have been connecting with our viewers from the top of the show, and I hope that you keep your questions, keep the conversation throughout the show, because we will definitely be attending to them. But what I love about this recipe, essentially, whether it's Korean, you can always put your own South African flair to it.
That's it. Of course you can.
Yeah.
There's no specific thing, and like you said earlier, it's a plain Vienna, but with the batter, with the beautiful flavors that you put in there, you make it your own. So you can experiment. The way I learned to cook was my mother. I could never understand how my mother could just stand in the kitchen and then just chuck things together.
Yeah.
And what I learned from her was you always start off with a recipe, you then taste it, and once you've tasted it, then you decide, what do I like about this, and I change that.
Oh, wow.
Now, Pelly, you have the Korean sauce there that we made earlier.
Yeah.
So now for the people who don't like it too spicy, you can do 1/3 of the Korean sauce and then 2/3 of the mayo. You can do 1/3 of the mayo. So you decide on how strong you want the sauce if you don't like that extra spiciness.
Oh, okay. And once this is all mixed up, depending on your flavor taste, you can just tube it or pipe it or put it in a bottle like we've done here.
That's correct.
So
yes.
I'm ready to garnish this and put this all together. We've now finished the entire process of putting together the corn dogs. If you can just pass me, Heinz, the corn dogs there that you've already got prepared. It's time to make these babies look pretty, don't you agree?
Okay, cool. Yes, let's make them pretty.
Okay, let's get going.
Cool.
So I've got some of that sauce there that you're going to add, and then all of the garnish here.
So once again, when you see the food, you want it to look good. You want to bite into them.
Yes. And
It's all
this
about
is
aesthetics.
aesthetic and making sure that they're Instagram worthy.
That's
and when it
exactly.
does come to your social media, can people find where to find you, your food truck, and how you get down on your platforms?
Yes,
Nice.
we are on Instagram and Facebook, and it's Plucky's Chick for Instagram, and on Facebook it's just Plucky's.
Lovely. And Kim, when it comes to just the feedback, what is your favorite part of people biting into your delicious chicken dogs or whatever, or your bao buns? What gives you that joy to say, yep, this is why I love preparing food?
Flavor. The thing that most people came back with is it's a flavor bomb. The flavors are incredible. There's sweet, there's salty, there's everything combined, and the flavors together just make it work.
Ah, the flavors pop. And not only do they pop with the first three things that we've created today, whether it was the chicken pops, the cauliflower pops, these bao buns, or the corn dogs, you still have something else. So what
Yes.
will we be preparing towards the end of the show?
So once again, what we love is we constantly bring in a little bit of a health element to it. So we're going to make today for you crispy apple donuts.
Okay, a crispy apple donut is what
Yes.
I'm all about. I know the traditional donuts, but let's take it up a notch and come along with me, South Africa. Please do head over to our website if you want to be making these with us. Coming up.
Express yourself.
Welcome back to our Afternoon Express cook-along, where we are ready to put the sweet treat and the sweet ending to our Korean-inspired cuisine. Now, please do head over to our website if you've missed any of the steps. Essentially, we're making apple donuts.
Yes.
Okay, so how do we get going when it comes to this recipe?
What we do is we take a juicy, nice green Granny Smith apple that's got nice tartiness and sweetness. We're going to core them. Like I picked up the corer and I just cored them for you. So you are going to grab the apple with your peeler. You are going to peel because we want the batter to be sticking nicely to the apple.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, when you look at it, you don't want to see apple, you want to see donut.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
we want to deceive you until you bite into it and you get that beautifully baked apple flavor.
I love that. So whilst I'm peeling away this green apple, trying to create that illusion that we love so much, on your side, Kim, what do you have?
So I'm going to be making the batter for the apple donuts. I've got some cake flour here. I've got some rice flour.
Okay.
Some sugar, an egg, cinnamon, nutmeg, baking powder. We're going to mix that all up to create a thick batter that the apples can stick to. Once we've done that, I'm going to show you how to make our panko breadcrumb mixture. We're going to coat that and we're going to pop it in the fryer.
Delicious. So then what's the best way of cutting and creating that donut shape? And how thick should the apple be?
Thank you. So you don't want it too thick, you don't want it too thin. So I normally cut them anything from 6 to 8 slices, depending on how big the apple is. So what's easiest, cut it in half, as you can see. Cut it in half, then you go to the inside and you slice and you slice And then you do again on the other side. So
That's such a brilliant way to determine that you're not getting towards the end of an apple before you've gotten enough cuts out of it. I like that. Half first and then into the different divisions.
There we go.
And then once it's like that, does it go to Kim's station?
Yes, Kim will then take these. She's going to put them in the batter that she's busy mixing there. And then...
Would you like to make the panko?
Yes, I'll make the panko. So the
Whilst Heinz has deserted me on this side, it's okay. I'll just fill in the blanks as I should as sous chef. I'm loving the fact that we are creating this side-by-side with you, Mzansi. And on social media, we wanted to find out about street food. So please leave your comments and keep the conversation going online because we love hearing from you and having you engage with us from the top of the show to the tail. Can you add any other elements, whether it is berries, whether it is different flavors, and how are we able to play? Ooh.
Ice cream is a winner. You can add whatever you like to it, as long as your batter is consistent. You can garnish it with, we garnish it with jam and icing sugar, but you can do that in any way that you want.
Lovely, lovely.
Really, I'm going to head back to you.
Okay.
So we can do the panko. Once again, because we're doing Asian, Korean, that's why we use the panko breadcrumbs.
And what is the difference between panko breadcrumbs to ordinary, usual breadcrumbs?
Crunch, crispiness.
Oh.
That's it.
Okay.
So once you bite into it, you will taste the difference.
It speaks for itself,
It speaks for itself, yes.
Nice. But also, the fact that it is summer, this is a nice summer, fresh twist that we're adding to what's usually a nice sweet treat. Here's some more apples.
Wonderful, thank you, madam.
And Kim, how's it going on that side?
All good. I've done my batter. We are putting the apples in, coating them quite nicely. Straight after that, we dunk them in the panko. Heinz, if you can mix that for us.
Yes.
Once they are coated, we pop them in the fryer, and then you shall see them come together and the magic thereafter.
Now, how long does it stay in the oil for?
So when we pop them into the oil, we literally let them go golden brown. After a minute or so, all you do is you literally just take your tongs, and all you do is just flip them around, because obviously the oil is at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because you just want them to be beautifully and crispy and golden brown so that they resemble the look of an actual donut.
Yes, okay. And then you also are all about your garnishes. So if everyone at home wants to garnish and make this look good and just add other elements to the meal, you've already spoken about ice cream.
Yes.
But how can we get it looking like, I want mine to look like that.
So that is, again, fairy dust that we throw on there. And that is the beautiful caster sugar. It makes everything look pretty.
Yes.
It's also very Instagrammable when you like dust things and all of that. So you can also, we with this recipe, we recommend cherry jam because it gives a beautiful flavor, adds nice sweetness, tartiness to the apple donut.
Nice. And Kim, we can all see there that you are expecting a bundle of joy. Congratulations. And when it comes to what you look forward to whipping up for your little one, do meals like this come to mind? A way of disguising a beautifully green apple into a dessert?
Most definitely. Our vegetarian options as well, obviously the cauliflower, although it's deep fried, is vegetarian. So, yes, and the apple donuts are delicious. They are crispy, but they taste more like a baked apple.
Yeah.
So it's healthy-ish.
Let's say it is satisfying.
Yes, there we go. So most definitely I will be introducing these recipes into Bubba's life.
Yeah, into Bubba's life, and not only Bubba, but the entire South African audience who have hopefully been catching the show from the very, very top. But if you just tuned in and you're wondering, what's cooking? We're making street-style Korean cuisine. We've already whipped up our delicious chicken pops and cauliflower pops. We've also made chicken dogs, a new Korean take on the hot dog. But now it's time for desserts. And I'm loving the fact that we are whipping together these desserts because for someone like me who doesn't really have a sweet tooth, this is the perfect in-between.
Yes, that's correct. Because you've got the perfect combination of sour tartiness with a bit of sweetness.
Love that.
And this is one of our quicker recipes.
Because Heinz has already said that the detail that he takes putting these recipes together, it's really about the small things, because if you pay attention to the detail, it all comes together into a beautiful masterpiece. I keep saying the word masterpiece and magic because that's essentially what we're doing. Now that the apples are out of the oil, we can now start plating.
So you see, transformation.
Before and after.
Yes.
That's the type of before and after I'm into. Right, put that on there.
So we are packing them in here. As you can see, they look nice and puffy because of the batter and then also of the panko. And then to just make it traditional jam donuts.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm taking over again.
Go ahead.
We just squirt it in the middle, so it looks like a little donut.
I love that. Okay, tips and tricks all underway. Put that finishing touch there. I mean, Kim, are you so excited to just dive into that dining room table and everything that's on there?
I'll dust it for us with your
Be
magic
quite forceful
dust.
with the dust.
There we go.
I love a whole lot of icing sugar.
There we go.
Adding that Christmas twist that we love as well. Thank you, voila. Thank you so much for joining me, creating this magic. Oh, it's still hot. And if you're wanting to keep your kitchen hot as well, please just head over to our Afternoon Express website for the full ingredients list and recipe. But guys, I believe it's time to eat.
Let's do.
Express yourself.
Protect what matters to you with insurance from Standard Bank. SMS LIFE to 31492 for a quote that fits your needs. South Africa, we're calling on you to vote for your favorite South African classics for your chance to win weekly classic prizes. Vote for your favorite music, fashion, dance moves, and more by dialing *120 *2676# for your chance to win.
Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to our special edition of our Afternoon Express Cook-Along, where we are finally ready to eat. Now, we've been whipping up something beautiful, something Korean, something street food, something that everyone in Mzansi can try. Of course, I was not alone. Thank you so much, Heinz. Thank you so much, Kim, for joining us and showing us how you guys throw it down at Plucky's.
Yes, that's how we do it.
So let's get eating.
Yes.
I mean, when you put this masterpiece together during lockdown, what vision and idea did you have for the restaurant?
The idea and the vision of the restaurant is that when you come to us at the V&A food market, you get that feeling of that you are in Korea, like a typical Korean street food outlet. So we've made a dark rustic wood. We've got neon lights on the outside and the inside. So it glows in pinks and it glows in blues. So the whole idea is that you actually feel that you are in Korea having a Korean street food experience.
So much so that you even doubled up with the paper, the paper that is essentially holding the boats together.
That's
Kim,
great.
I mean, tell us all about this paper, girl. Can I just use any old paper?
No, obviously not. This is obviously greaseproof paper that we've had printed, but you need to get it from a specific shop or outlet that is has the correct safety measures. Obviously, you don't want to be eating ink.
Yes.
So we have designed these specifically just to get you that authentic kind of look.
Now, speaking about the authentic look, have some of these. Here's a full batch that you can try. I just had a bite, South Africa, and you know how I said the test is on. Let's see how close they can get to Korean authentic style food, and this is spot on. I can almost say a 10 out of 10.
Fantastic,
I took a bite out of the chicken pops, and wow, the flavor is just there. That flavor punch that Kim was talking about definitely represented.
Can you taste the crispiness?
I can. And sometimes the crispiness ends up getting taken away after you put all the sauces and all the different elements together. So I love the fact here that the crunch is still there, still viable. So when you were also taking quite pride, Heinz, in what you guys put together in terms of sustainability, giving back to the environment, and it being the festive season. What is Plucky's doing, making sure that everyone around us is taken care of, whether it's your staff or whether it's the people at home who try your food?
We source our produce, fresh produce, locally, free range. All our packaging is recyclable. So we put our effort in of making sure that it's not damaging the environment.
Oh, I love that. Well, cheers not only to amazing food, not only to gorgeous company, but to the festive season and creating things that might take us out of Africa every now and then.
Yes.
Kim, any festive season plans?
Yes, preparing for baby. Second baby, first baby is Plucky's. We've just opened up a new outlet. So we will be focusing on that for Christmas and into the new year.
It's all about work, hey, Heinz?
That's it.
Okay, on that note, I want to get on Heinz's tip. He's got a mouthful of food, but that's what it's all about, Mzansi. I hope that you enjoyed this midweek edition of our Afternoon Express Cook-Along. It's been an utter joy coming from our side in the loft, and I hope that you've also not forgotten about our social media, using that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. But join us again tomorrow for another fun episode of Afternoon Express. But until then, Mzansi, good night, stay safe, and happy eating.
Bye-bye.
Clover celebrates spring with exciting giveaways. Look out for selected Clover products in store to stand a chance to win. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.